Guys, yesterday we had that really good discussion about, thank you. We had a really good discussion about the two Enlightenment philosophers that we talked about. Does everybody remember the two that we spoke about yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
Who was the one? Hobbes and Rousseau.
Yeah.
Okay, now what did Hobbes say? We have to review this really quick.
People are bad.
Good. People are bad.
And then the other one said,
need government to control. Remember, while we're talking about this, you guys have a sheet in front of you that has all 5 philosophers. Okay?
can I get one, please?
Yeah, sure. When you figure out what the big idea of that philosopher is, you need to write it down. So what do we think the big idea that Hobbes had was?
People are bad. And
People are bad, and
they
need government to control them, right?
And then the other one said, we don't need the government, we should just let the people be.
Very good. The other one said we don't really need a government because what are people like?
Stop playing.
Because what are people like?
Psychopaths?
Huh?
They're like psychopaths?
No,
People
Hobbes.
are good.
Yes, good. Rousseau said people are actually good to each other. And people should make their own decisions. And we even talked about, one of you came up with a really good idea. What kind of government would Rousseau really want us to have?
A king.
Wait a second, let's think about this. Rousseau said everybody, all the people. Hold on, think for 1 second. Rousseau said that all the people will make good decisions if they're left alone. They'll make good decisions for each other.
Like we don't need a government, basically.
So what kind of government did he say he wanted? A direct democracy. Because think about it. Who makes the decisions in a direct democracy?
The Senate.
Everybody, right? The people themselves make all the decisions. Now, Hobbes, on the other hand, what did he say about
They want to be basically like heritage. Want to be a monarchy.
a monarchy? He said a monarchy might be better. Why? What does a monarchy do?
A monarchy is like violent.
It controls people, right? It doesn't let people make their own rules.
Yeah.
And we talked about, for a couple minutes, we talked about that social contract, right?
Yeah.
We talked about that contract we get in with the government, right?
What?
What were the 2 sides of the contract? Joseph, need you paying attention. Come on. What were the 2 sides, Kevin?
You release a little bit of your freedom for your
Good.
safety.
Huh? Good. You trade freedom for safety, right? So there's us and the government. We have to give something up. What do we give up to the government? We give up our freedom, right? We are minus some freedom. What does that mean? Can I do whatever I want? No, I can't do whatever I want, right?
Yeah.
I can't. I can't kill anybody. I can't steal. I can't just take the stuff that I want.
Yeah.
Can't beat people up. Not that I want to do that, but I can't do any of those things, right?
What?
But what do I get in exchange? What's my plus here?
Money.
Does the government just give you money?
No. Safety.
Safety. Absolutely.
Knowing
Because
so
if-
you don't sleep.
Because if I can't beat people up, can I get beaten up?
No.
No, right? Nobody can do that stuff to me. Okay?
Safety.
So I give up some freedom, but in return I get safety. Okay? This is Hobbes' contract. I need everybody to write down Hobbes' ideas. You should have 2 things in Hobbes' box. Okay? We're going to keep track of Hobbes' ideas. Emmanuel, you too, bud. Come on. Well, this is called, what's the name of this contract? We talked about it a little bit. I'm just going to put the name up so you guys can put it in your notes. Okay? This is called the social contract. Right? It's a contract between us and the government. So, everybody put this in your notes, please. The social contract. Armando, do you have a pencil? Armando.
Yeah.
Oh. I wonder if I have a pencil for you. Here. There you go. Oh, good. You got one? Good.
That means that's locked.
Huh?
Locked liberty.
Yeah, we're going to get to lock in a second. I want to hear from the people who had lock. Okay?
I got lock.
I know, you had lock and you had lock. That's good. I'm going to hear from you in 2 seconds. We're going to... Lock's the new stuff. Huh? Voltaire? Who had Voltaire? You had Voltaire, didn't you? You did. No, you had Montesquieu. It's fine. We'll get to Voltaire and Montesquieu tomorrow. Today is Locke, and Locke is so important that we're going to spend a whole day on Locke. Okay. I want to make sure that we both have Hobbes and Rousseau in our notes. Hobbes said people are
naturally good.
Hobbes.
Hobbes said
Bad.
people are bad.
Ah, thank you, Kevin. Hobbes said people are
Oh, I'm talking
naturally
about
bad.
Locke.
We'll get to Locke in a second. And Rousseau said people are great.
very-
Let people decide their own rules. Okay? So make sure you write that down. Do you want me to write it down for you? Okay. Ooh. Joseph, I'm going to write it down for him. I want you to look at what you've written and make sure it matches his. Okay? Hobbes said people equal bad. Right? Government must control them. Right? And Rousseau said people equal good. Okay? Let them decide. Okay? Now, remember, the question that I asked us in the beginning when we started talking about all these philosophers from the Enlightenment, the question that I asked was, what is something they all talk about?
The people.
People.
Okay, so right now we know they're all talking about people, but there's a key word here that we have to... we're going to get to it. We're going to talk to a next one. Maybe it's government. Maybe these guys are all coming up with new ideas about government. So, I need to hear from the Locke people. My John Locks, Devante and Lamonte. Which one of you thinks they can really explain what Locke's ideas were? You forgot most of them? That's fine.
I like the paper if you want to share.
Huh? Do you want to look at the paper?
Want some of you?
Yeah.
Right here, I got it.
Okay, Devante, show us what you got. Everybody right now needs to be listening to Devante because he's going to explain what Locke says. Okay, and then we're going to talk about it a little bit. What does Locke say?
You want me to just read it, or do you
What's
want me
Locke's big idea? Huh?
He believed that the
Shh, shh. Hey, everybody focus on Devante.
he believed that we had our own rights, and when the government tried to tell us our rights, he felt like that government should be put out.
Ah, so there's two big pieces here. He says that people have what?
No, right.
Our own rights. We're born
Rights.
with our own rights.
Okay, now, here's the key. He uses a special word when he talks about these rights. What's the special word he uses?
Government.
It starts with an N. It's in there. I know it is.
In national liberty.
No. Let's see, Devante. You show you.
National rights.
Very good. That one? See it?
Natural rights.
Natural rights. Okay, good. Natural rights. Locke talks about natural rights. Okay? Guys, this is his big idea. We should be writing this stuff down. Now, Devante, natural rights. What does it mean that rights are natural?
Liberty. When you're born.
Yeah.
Woo! Someone studied Locke even before I got to it. Okay, you're right. Natural rights mean that you are born with these rights. So who has these rights?
Not.
Just Locke?
The people.
Not the people.
Everyone.
Everybody. Everybody's born with certain rights, right?
Also
So,
believe that the government
I'm going to say a
protects
statement. I'm going to give a statement, okay? And you guys tell me if Locke would agree with this statement or disagree with this statement. Here's the statement. The government gives us our rights.
Green.
He disagrees.
Why do you think, Devante, why would Locke disagree with the statement that the government gives us our rights?
Because he felt like we were born with our own rights.
Ah,
He also thinks that
the
the government should
government doesn't give us our rights.
We give our own.
We have them to begin with, and what is the government's job?
Protect us.
To make sure we get them. Okay? So, natural rights are rights that you are born with. You guys need to write this stuff down. This is super important. Especially because we as Americans, okay, this guy's ideas were huge for the formation of our country. Okay? We would not be America today if not for these guys' ideas. Natural rights. So what are natural rights?
Natural rights that we were born with.
Good. Rights that we were born with. And what is the government's job?
Keep us.
Make us
Make
happy
us laws.
when we got born.
What's our government's job in regards to these rights? What's the government supposed to do? Make sure we get them, right? And here's the next big piece. This is the most important piece, and I want everybody to pay really close attention. Rudy, you listening?
Yeah.
Okay, you really got to understand this piece. Devante, what does Locke say about if the government if the government is ignoring our natural rights, if the government is stopping us from getting these natural rights,
Then we get a new government inside the.
what are we as human beings supposed to do? What are we able to
Let's
do?
vote. Vote.
Yeah, but think
Vote.
about it. Sometimes governments don't just give up their power, do they?
No.
No.
War.
So- what?
War.
He says, if necessary,
We will go
Okay.
to war with
We
them.
go to war.
you can kick out your government and put in a government that listens, that respects your natural rights. Okay?
Listens to the people and respects their rights as Americans.
So, what does he say about government? What's Locke's idea about government? You need to write this down.
That the government should protect our rights.
Government should protect rights, and what happens if they're not protecting rights?
War.
Get kicked out.
We kick them out. We can actually
Oh.
physically kick out the government, and Locke said, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Good thing.
Good thing. Absolutely.
French Revolution
Right?
stuff right there.
What'd you say?
French Revolution.
You're 2 steps ahead of me. You are exactly right. That's what's going to lead to the French Revolution, and not just the French Revolution,
No, American.
the American Revolution. We did this too. Guys, when Washington and Jefferson decided that they were going to kick out the King of England,
We did it
right?
too.
Whose ideas do you think they talked about?
The French.
The
Mhm.
French Revolution.
Not the French, because we did it first, believe it or
Locke.
not. We haven't before. Whose ideas?
Oh.
Locke. They said the Declaration of Independence uses all of Locke's ideas. They say we have a right as Americans,
To kick
okay,
people
as
out.
humans, to kick out this government because what was that government doing?
Not listening to
Not
the
Not
rights.
giving us our rights. And just so we have it in our notes, I know it's a kind of important detail, but Devontae, what did he say some of those rights were?
Right? Liberty.
Locke?
Life, liberty,
Yeah, ability to have.
and well, he says one specifically. It's not pursuit of happiness.
Ability to have.
No, he actually says property.
That's what I said. Property.
Yeah, property. What does property mean here, though?
Your own land. Right?
Yeah, or stuff. You're allowed to have stuff, right?
Yes.
And Rudy, what would it look like for the government to take away your life? What does that mean?
Kill you.
Kill you, right? Good.
Assassinate.
What would it mean for the government to take away your liberty?
Take away your rights.
Well, what does it mean to lose
Take away your
liberty?
freedom.
Take away your freedom. Where does that usually look like?
Jail.
Jail. Very good, Armando. Very good. Okay. And property. What would it look like if the government took your property?
Take your land.
Yeah, take your stuff, right? That means we as Americans, because we like Locke's ideas, can the government do any of this stuff to us?
No.
Nope. Not unless we give them a reason, right? They can't take our lives, they can't take our liberty, and they can't take our property. Because we believe very strongly in Locke's ideas. Okay? Good work. Does everybody have those in their notes?
Yes.
Yes, let me make sure. Let me make sure. Okay, we are probably not going to get to Montesquieu and Voltaire today. Actually,
Can I read my guy?
who's your guy?
Him.
Well, what's his name?
Walto?
Voltaire. Okay, sure. Let's do yours really quick. We're going to listen to Emilio. Emilio's going to tell us, what was Voltaire's big idea? Emilio.
Come on.
Go ahead.
Voltaire was a French person who
Okay, don't read the whole thing. I just want you to figure out what his big idea was.
freedom of speech.
Voltaire's idea was what?
Freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech. That's a great idea, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yes.
And the religions.
And who does he say might stop someone from having freedom of speech? Does it say in there?
No one.
Huh?
The government.
The
Government
government.
might try and stop people from having freedom of speech. And what does he say about that?
No.
No.
No. Government has to let people
Have their
have
word.
freedom of speech.
Freedom.
And there's one more too.
Yeah.
We talk about freedom of speech.
And their
Religion.
religion.
Kevin, did you read all of these?
Yeah,
No.
Yeah.
Seriously?
He did.
No.
I'm pretty impressed, Kevin.
Why?
Freedom of religion, which
Religion.
means what?
They're right.
Heroes.
Their religion, the Judaism.
Well, Judaism is a religion, yes, but what does freedom of religion mean?
Have
You
any
could-
religion that you
What is it?
You can have any religion that you want.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
You can have any religion you want, right?
Right.
In America.
Uh-huh.
This is why, guys, ignore the person at the door. Who cares? Okay, I know, it's fine. Joseph, focus on Voltaire. We just wrote down, both of Voltaire's big ideas, okay? In America, Does our government say you have to be a certain religion?
No,
No.
we have freedom of religion.
We have freedom of religion. Are we a Christian country?
Yes.
Sort
Sorry,
Right way.
so much.
No. We're not a Christian
What?
country. We might be a country who's majority Christian, but there's a very important law in America that says, do we have an official religion?
No.
No, we do not.
No.
There is no official religion in America, okay? You can be any religion you want in America. Guys, are we seeing how some of these ideas are really important even today?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
they're from the Declaration.
Yeah, we use them in the Declaration of Independence, right? We still believe with it. Yeah, absolutely. They're in the Constitution. We still use these ideas a lot today, okay? So even though these guys are way, way, way old,
We still use
we still use their ideas. That's the beauty of being a philosopher, right? You come up with great ideas,
and
that's-
people use them forever.
and people use them forever and ever and ever.
Oh yeah,
Okay?
every and
Yeah.
his last big idea is project and superstation.
Oh yeah, he didn't like superstition. He
Superstition.
didn't like superstition.
So, things around and stuff?
No, superstition's like believing in things that aren't explained, right?
Yeah.
Like stuff like black cats are unlucky, right?
Or
Why?
like unicorns.
Yeah, or unicorns or myths. You know what?
I feel like religious stuff.
Ah, I'm pretty impressed. That's a good. I was gonna say, just to be honest about Voltaire, Joseph, pay attention, please. Just to be honest about Voltaire, Voltaire didn't really like religion. He wasn't a very religious guy, and he said, you know what? Religion's not that great for people. It kind of brainwashes people, and it makes them believe stuff that's silly, right?
You've been killed by some terrorists for saying stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe today. No, you're right. And you know what? People didn't like that idea at the time because everybody was very religious, right? But Voltaire said, you know what? You guys are believing in a bunch of hokey stuff, right?
Yeah.
I want everything to be explained.
You get assassinated?
That's a very good question. I don't know if he got assassinated.
He
Some
did.
of these guys did.
Still, it's their freedom of religion. And
Yeah, so he said, you know, because a lot of the time, let's say you lived in England, there was an official religion in England. You were supposed to be Anglican, okay? You're supposed to be this Christian religion, right? What would Voltaire say about that?
no.
No, that's bad, right?
Yeah.
We don't want an official religion because then you're taking away, guys, it's the
Our
same thing.
religion.
Huh? Well, you're taking away a person's what?
Our freedom.
Freedom.
Their freedom, their
And their
rights,
land.
right? You're taking away their freedom and their rights,
Yeah.
okay? Guys, what are we seeing is the common theme among all these philosophers? What are they all sort of talking about?
Freedom.
Freedom.
Freedom, sure, that's a good one.
Our government.
Government.
Dante, say it loud.
Government.
Government.
And our speech.
These guys, okay, when I ask you, what was the Enlightenment about? Because I will ask you probably on a quiz, right? I'm going to ask you just that. What was the Enlightenment about?
Government.
It was about new ideas in government, right?
Yeah.
We talked about the scientific revolution. That was about science, right? And nature. Okay? The Enlightenment is all about new ideas about government. Is there a question on your sheet that might ask that? No? Okay. Now, I want everybody to take 3 seconds of the philosophers that we've talked about so far. Answer number 1. Because I am very curious. This I'm very curious about. Number 1 says, which philosopher's ideas do you agree with the most? Which one do you think has the best ideas? I'm really curious. I'd like to hear what all of you say.
The second one.
Well, tell me his name and then tell me why you think his ideas are so good. I remember we had a nice little debate yesterday. Devontae had a great debate where he was talking about, I think Hobbes is right. I think people are kind of nasty, they're kind of mean, and they need rules,
I
right?
agree with both of them.
And Kevin said, you know what? Maybe they're both onto something. Maybe Rousseau, maybe some people are good or some people are bad. And Lamonte, I actually really love that you brought in that movie as an example. The Purge, right? There were 2 kinds of people in the Purge, weren't there? There was the people that when all the rules went away, how did they act?
Bad.
They act terrible, right? They just wanted to kill people, kind of for no reason. They were just like awful, right? And then there were some who said, what? I don't want to hurt anybody. Yeah, I just want to survive. I want to be,
You see number 2 is really like.
Yeah. So The Purge is almost, guys, remember, these ideas are everywhere. The Purge is almost a movie about Hobbes's idea versus Rousseau's idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like
Some
breaking the
people-
rules for a full day, right?
Huh?
Isn't it like the rule, all the rules doesn't exist?
Yeah, that's for anybody who hasn't seen the movie. It's like all the rules are gone, right? There's no government for a day.
Machiavelli a dictator?
Machiavelli wasn't a dictator, but he wrote a book about how to be a king, how to be a dictator, called The Prince. I thought about including Machiavelli, but
Good dictator.
yeah, Machiavelli was trying to tell people about how to be a good dictator,
Or a
right?
bad
But it's
one.
still a dictator, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's still something we don't agree with in America. What kind of government do we love in America?
No.
Is Hobbes a government? Who's
No.
Hobbes? Hobbes is a dude,
Well,
right?
some kind of government.
What kind of government do we like?
All
A
the
democracy.
Well,
A direct democracy.
Democracy.
Democracy is our government. I know we've talked about this probably 500 times. Is our government a direct democracy?
No.
No, it's not. Because do I vote? Do we all as a people, do we vote on every single law?
Yes.
No.
No.
Not every
They're
law.
representative for that.
Ah, ha, ha, Lamonte, I am so impressed, dude. What'd you say?
They're representative.
We have representatives for that.
Yeah.
So even though laws are being passed maybe right now,
Yeah.
I'm not voting on
I
them.
say you can start a party. Everybody else vote. I say you start a party. Disagree.
Yeah, ABCD.
Okay,
And we have Senate.
yeah, we have the Senate. That's part of, what do we call the people in the Senate?
We're all.
They are our
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 law.
Good, thank you, Joseph. They're our representatives. They represent us. So they vote for us, right?
Yeah.
Yes. We vote for
Now, I will be
people.
really impressed if one of you can get the answer to this. Would Hobbes prefer, okay, a direct democracy where everybody votes on everything?
No.
Or would he prefer what we have?
We have. We have.
Shh, raise your hand if you think you know the answer.
I
Which one would he prefer?
A direct democracy.
He would prefer direct democracy. Why?
Because
Because
there's only one guy who
What,
joined.
think about his idea. What did he think about people?
he thought people were bad.
Okay, so would he want all the people, if they're all so bad, would he want them making the rules?
No.
Oh.
No. So which one would he prefer, Armando?
The ones that we have
He would
right now.
prefer what we have, a republic, where people sort of vote for us. Hobbes didn't think people were all that clever, right?
Yeah.
They thought we had a.
He thought he was stupid.
He thought people were stupid and kind of mean, right? So he
Yeah.
said, the fewer people involved in making government decisions, the better. The better, right?
Yeah.
Right? We need
Right.
just a couple smart guys making all the decisions for everybody, because that way people can't
No.
mess it all up, right?
Did you? We keep putting
Yes.
he keep distracted and
That's
putting
okay.
away.
That's okay. I'm gonna take this from you, though, okay?
We trying to learn. We ain't trying to
I
play.
know. You guys are doing a great job today. Guys, I'm serious. This is a really high level discussion. If you guys can leave this room and be like, hey, I can talk about Hobbes and I can talk about Rousseau and I can talk about John Locke, you're way ahead of the rest of these guys. For real. Because I couldn't pull a kid out of the hallway and be like, tell me what Locke says. Right? And there's no way. They would have no idea. They'd be like, I don't know. Right?
Yeah.
But I could ask Kevin, I could be like, Kevin, what does Locke say? What's Locke's big idea?
Locke's big idea is for national rights.
Natural rights, right? That's his big idea. He says, you know what? People are born with these rights. And the second piece about the government,
Life and liberty.
life, liberty, property. And what's the government's job?
You
Protect those rights. Give them to us. And Devontae, if the government's not playing along,
We kick them out.
Out of there.
out of it,
Out of there.
right? We kick them out.
Kick.
Devontae,
Yeah.
how many times do you think that's happened? Joseph, sit down, not done.
A few times. Arnold Schwarzenegger, man, he's a government. He was doing a good job.
Wait, did
No, how many times do you think a whole kind of government has been kicked out? Not just one person in the government.
maybe a couple.
Yeah, definitely a couple. We're about to learn about one of the most famous ones, where France,
There's any Middle Peace hunt.
no, this one we're going to talk about is in France. France had a monarchy, which means it had
One person.
one person in charge, a king. Very good, Armando. France had a king. And guess what, people? People started to read these ideas, and people started to be like, you know what? This king is not honoring our natural rights.
So let's kick them out.
So let's kick him out. And the ideas,
Like they did in Rome.
I don't think they did that in Rome.
No.
No, I don't think so.
Rome didn't fight that.
Well, Rome had a government, a monarchy, but remember, these ideas, hey, Rudy, chill.
Matter of fact, Rome was happy.
Okay, it's fine. You know what?
It was
If it's
cheap.
you, that's fine. Just
Rome was happy. It's weird.
Well, I mean, we don't know. You know what? It's too long
The
ago.
rebels, they was against it.
Yeah, it's too long ago, and we don't really have much information about Rome. But we know very clearly that in France, okay, the people read these ideas. All these philosophers, they read Hobbes, they read Locke, they read Rousseau, they read Montesquieu, and they read Voltaire, and they decided, you know what? Our government isn't listening to our natural rights. They're not letting us have these things. So what do we got to do?
Kick them out.
Kick them out. Kick them out. Okay, and that's what they did.
Did we? They came up with swords and stuff.
Yeah, well, the way they kicked out their government, their monarchy,
They chopped
was
off his
pretty
head,
brutal.
put it on
And
his
it's true,
back.
they threw him out the window, then the Q grabbed him, chopped his head off, put it on the stick.
yeah, a lot of people got their heads chopped off. It was a very violent
And that's when that
revolution,
galaxy
we
came
call
along.
it. Yeah, very good.
It was
You really know your stuff. Come on,
Was
Jack.
it like the purge?
Huh?
Was it like the
I
purge?
guess it was kind of like the purge.
No,
But
kill 'em.
the point was they were trying to make a government that actually gave people rights. Okay? Right?
Why?
Give them a right to let them live.
Yeah. And also people were really into the right to choose their own laws.
Yeah.
Okay? Really into that idea. Do we like that idea in America?
Yeah.
Yeah, we like to choose our own laws. Okay, take one more glance at question 2 at the bottom of your sheet. Oh, okay, we gotta go. Thank you guys. You guys were awesome today.